Folks, we're back, and I told you today I was in the presence of greatness. Fritz Bafo, ni Ayebuafo. And me, we're going to introduce somebody else and give us the honor of introducing this person.
I want to introduce a very, very special gentleman. He's a polymath. He's a teacher, he's a broadcaster, he's a presenter, he's a comedian, and he happens to be a relative, a friend, and a brother. I give you the one and only Tommy Annan.
There we go. There. Tommy, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
To have Tommy and Fritz, I mean, you guys were sensational. By the way, folks, at one point I was known as a king of comedy, and I took the baton from these gentlemen, man, and we are all here together, man. This is it, man. This is it. Show some love, man. Tommy, I didn't know you guys were actually related as well.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
We are.
Well, the father's side.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fantastic.
But we didn't know that till we started, and my dad said, "Oh, that is my cousin's son." You know, lots of thing.
Yeah. It's in the blood.
It's in the blood, man. It's in the blood. It's in the blood.
It's in the blood.
Tommy, you also, very, very, very interesting history. At one point, you were a taxi driver once, right?
Yes, I did some taxi driving. To sort of like make ends meet. There were so many things I had to do, due to circumstances beyond control. There's so many things, but basically, yes, I did taxi driving for quite a while whilst I was working in GBC. And it was pretty tough. People are so used to sitting in a taxi and, it's like, Mboya, oh, Missy ha. But you sit in a taxi like, hi, where can I drop you? Everyone's like, excuse me, taxi driver, part of bro, Fusi. But it was fun, meeting people. People would look at me from, different angles, like, who's this person? He speaks good English, he's very jovial with his passengers and stuff like that. It was pretty difficult, but I enjoyed it. At a point in time, I realized that I had to do it for monetary reasons, but at the same time, it was fun.
Wow. And something else too about, I think you had mentioned the first time I talked to you that shocked me, was your educational background.
Yes.
It's just,
KSM, a lot of people sometimes fight me. There are a couple of times whilst I was lecturing in my school, I told them that I had never been to sixth form, I'd never had university education, and one student said, "Sir, with all due respect, you're a liar." You're a liar. I almost fainted. I said, "Hey, is this where Ghana is getting to?" But it was fun. I understood him. I said, "Why do you say that?" He said, "Sir, the way you speak English, the way you pronounce words, I very much doubt whether you've not had, university education." I said, "Well, yes, I finished Form 5. Immediately I had to work, started working as a messenger. And so the finances were not there because my father had not left any money for us. So I had to work. So Form 5, that was it. No sixth form, no university. Here I am today."
Well, and especially because you're very particular, with the spoken word or how you speak English. That's why people are forced to think, oh, this man is very academic.
I guess so. I guess so. And I don't know why people would not believe me. It's like, okay, if you don't have a university background, you're not supposed to speak like that. But you can self-train your mind, to say that, look, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to be able to communicate to people, for people to understand my policies, my visions, my everything. And so the way you communicate to people, it's difficult for them to understand and say, look, I don't think it's possible. If Fritz had said that, perhaps in my capacity as Tommy and Forsen, I would not believe it. So I'm forced to understand that, yes, people, this man, I don't think he's telling the truth, but it's the truth.
Fritz, what's your reaction to that?
Oh, well, the thing is that they're very, very gifted people, especially in the broadcasting world of that time. You know, you had people who they didn't go to university, they hadn't finished Form 5, and they could speak very well because, you know, in our time, the emphasis was on grammar and syntax, on how to pronounce words while you were in secondary school. And if you took it seriously, naturally the eloquence would come out of it. And Tommy is, you can't say anything. He's too good for that.
I'm on it.
So how did you get into broadcasting? Was your background ever an issue?
No.
Academic background, I mean.
No, I always say that I went into broadcasting by mistake. I always say on any show that every misfortune is a blessing to a certain degree. I was down with jaundice, and my eyes were all yellow. I looked like the yellow race, part of the yellow race. But anyway, and so I was confined to bed for quite a while, close to about 18 weeks. And at the time, there was only one station, which was GBC. I was listening to radio one afternoon, just by chance. I was bored, reading Mills and Boon, one book a day, and I heard this voice. And I said, this can't be Ghanaian. So I thought it was the wrong station until he mentioned, this GBC2 with Jim Amakpofo. And I said, wow. He had this American accent. He spoke so well. He played very good music. And I said, whoa, so we have this in Ghana? Okay, maybe this is my first time listening to radio because radio wasn't really my thing, And
what was your thing?
I was an adventurer, I was always looking for things to do. And so when he was signing off, he said he'll be back the same time tomorrow. And I tuned in and I said, no, I have to find out who this gentleman is. So in my sickness, I got in my Beetle, went to GBC, filled the form, went in there. I said I was looking for Jim Amakpofo. And radio can be very deceptive. I mean, you've been in radio before. So you hear a particular voice and you create a face and a size to that voice.
Yeah.
And you're expecting some giant to come out. I mean, he is 6'2". If I didn't know, maybe fine. But so Jim comes out and he said, hi, I'm Jim. I said, really? I don't think so. Yeah, I'm Jim. I said, anyway, I'm sorry I came to bother you at this time, but I was so fascinated with your voice, your speech, the kind of music that you play. That's what really got to me. And I just came here to say I wanted to be friends with you. And he was so receptive, and we became friends, had a couple of lunches in my house under invitation. And then there was a nightclub that was opened, which is now Hinloan, a Chinese restaurant. It was then Babylon nightclub.
Yeah.
They were the DJs, Jim Amakpofo and Benny Osuenchi, And as a friend, we went for the lunch, and I sat down, saw what they did. It was exciting. I mean, Friday night, I had no clue, absolutely no clue about DJing. My mentor, my state of mind was being a mechanic, And so I did ICS. I succeeded, waiting to open a workshop of my own. But I figured that at a point in time, everything is planned by God. If he says you move in that direction, you go in that direction, whether you like it or not. That's your destiny. And a couple of times, Benny and Jim didn't turn up. And so the owner of the nightclub, me sitting there having a beer, says, why don't you go and play some music? I said, excuse me? And when I get into things, then my voice begins to change, I said, excuse me? He said, just go and play some music. I mean, I had no clue. But one thing I remember was a song that came out, Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Was the only song that I knew. And it was an LP. I put that on. People got on the dance floor. The next song I played was a total disaster. Everybody was what am I going to do? And play one song, then go to High Life and go to this. But gradually, I began to get interest in what I was doing because seeing people dance and you play music, say a couple of things, was some kind of communication between you and people. And so that spirit would bond between whatever you are saying and the connection between you and the people. And so I started doing that, and gradually I picked up, and Tommy and Forsen became a sensation, nightclub
Wow.
DJ, you know.
Wow.
And I was the very first person.
So your claim to fame started as a nightclub
As
DJ?
a nightclub DJ, yes, you know. And so we were the first to organize the dancing competition in Ghana, in which a G-Man, you know, won the competition. It was massive, you know. And at a point in time, I had to DJ with my shirt off because it was so hot.
Wow.
You know, the heat was hot. The heat was hot, but it was sensational. And then again, a couple of people from GBC came there and said, "Look, why don't you apply for radio?" I said, "No, I think radio is a little too big for me." But you see, again, it all boils down to God saying, "Move into this direction." One day, Jim comes up and says, "Look, I cannot do my program." It was a Saturday. "Can you do it for me?" But I said, "I don't work in GBC." He says, "Well, I mean, I trust you. Just go and do it." And luckily enough, Nicholas Adimado, at the time, may so rest in peace, was there. And I said, "Oh, Jim said I should come and do it. Feel free." There was a whole lot of hullabaloo because GBC was used to a certain kind of voice on the air.
Yeah.
The Joe Kofis, the Jim, the James Amati. So this new voice, where did it come from? Because we don't remember writing a letter to him. And so that was how it started.
So
And
they let you actually go and sit in for the guy?
yes, I did. And it was just a 30-minute, you know, but I had not got the experience of, you know, having to introduce songs and stuff like that. There were a couple of times that I was a guest on his show. So I took that, you know, and used that as a benchmark to introduce songs, kind of, and that was how it started. And then they asked me to apply officially, which I did. I didn't get the results they were looking for. I failed in mathematics successfully. I bought successfully. You know. But fast forward, that was how it went, and that was how I got into broadcasting. And
Wow.
voila, that was it.
Wow. Here's a round, man. Wow. But you and Fritz, you guys became a sensation, you know. I happen to have been outside the country then, so I never got a chance to see the F&F show or any of your stand-ups. Absurd, I think it
Yes,
was called.
Absurd.
And how did you guys link up? Let me start with Fritz.
The story was there was this lady, Carol Brady, who was a gospel singer, and I think she lived in Nigeria. And at that time, Ghana, we were getting introduced into the sophisticated music scene, and she was meant to perform at one of the halls in Ambassador Hotel, which at that time was one of the best hotels in the country. And Prince Klugeson, one of the Klugeson brothers, called me and said, "Look, this lady's coming, and I'd like you to be the MC for the show." So I said, "Fine," and you know, so I went there for the Carol Brady show, and Tommy was there, and Tommy also had been
Invited?
He'd been given the job of the MC, so there was a clash.
Okay.
And it became, you know, a hullabaloo. But the two of us, we hit it up. We
Master of clashes, you know.
That's MC.
So we went and sat down somewhere and watched them arguing about who was to do it and all that kind of thing. And we decided, look, let's do this thing together. I mean, it's not about too much money and everything. And so we did it together. It was a small crowd. I mean, I don't think there were more than 100 people there.
Maybe a little more.
Yeah. But it was the creme de la creme of Ghanaian society at the time. And we
So you guys emceed for the show?
We didn't MC. We
cracked.
We cracked jokes and you know, we just let loose. And these people
Because you hadn't rehearsed, right?
We hadn't rehearsed.
Spontaneous. It just one. That was it. You know.
Wow.
And I remember, Fritz, that after the show, Carol Brady got so annoyed with us.
Yeah.
I mean, she was livid. What was the problem? We virtually took over the show.
Wow.
Because when she came to perform, it was like, okay, hurry up and get off the scene.
Let's come.
Yeah. And that was it, you know. And I remember Totobi Kwachi was there.
Yeah.
Wow.
And when we finished, he said, look, you guys should do something on television. And we had never thought about it, never.
Really?
And then we said, okay, that's a good idea. And then Fritz said, why don't we do something called F&F? Fritz and Forsen. And that was it. That was
And
it.
then we had a very good director, Owusu, John Owusu, you know, super, you know, Robert Owusu's younger brother, and he was very game. All right, so we got together. There was no money, and they didn't have a budget. So I went to my dad and I said, "Dad, we've got this show coming up, and and we need a little bit of money. So he said, how much do you need? You know, and I mentioned the figure, and he said, oh, why don't you have a little more? So he signed the check.
Wow.
This is a man who was retired in his 70s, and he said, oh, great, go ahead with it. So that's how we were very, 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 very miserly with the way we spend the money.
Wow.
But you see, the will to produce, you know, was, yeah, so the enthusiasm was there, and we managed to get people to come in, and you know, Bob Cole was on our first program. You know, yeah, Bob Cole came on, yeah, I mean, he sang, and we filmed, and it was a different way of doing television for the first time in Ghana, you know. And here were two people who were relatively well-educated, well-spoken, coming out with comedy as against the genre which was concert party and, you know, but so people, yeah, and we blew their minds because we took them to places they hadn't been.
Yeah, FNF was big. I mean, I didn't see it, but I heard about FNF, you know.
You know, and incidentally, KSM, I'll tell you a secret. We've never come out with this. All the 7 series that we did, none of them were scripted.
Wow.
None. Not one was scripted. We just got into the studio. Fritz says, let's take this direction. What ideas do you have? Okay, let's do this, let's do that. Mesh together, film, and that was it. Not one single script.
And John Usu was so good. He sort of could put it together, the tapestry. You see, it was good.
What year was this?
87, December 87 to early January 88. And that was it.
And this was in the era of...
Jerry Rawlings. And at that time, they just changed to color. In 1985, they changed to color. So it was a show, and people watch television.
And what I heard, and I think that's one of your claims to fame on VFA, was that you actually, at that time, was mimicking Jerry Rawlings on stage and making fun?
Yeah, he mimicked Jerry Rawlings, and I was doing Idi Amin.
Can we get just a little bit of
yes, he had you know, and it was like Jerry Rawlings has made Idi Amin because of my size. And,
yeah,
you know, so
you're a big
I'm dark and he's light skinned, and
you know, at the time I had a beard,
and
you know, and we got military uniforms.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah, I mean, it took us a hell of a time, but they understood what direction we're going to, and so it's like, okay, fine, let's see what you're going to do. I had the cap, I had the peps, you know, the dark glasses and everything, and I looked so much like Jerry, so much. Today I look very much like Jerry, but without the Rawlings, because but it was such a sensation, you know. And at a point in time, this guy made me laugh on set, you know. It was never scripted.
Do you know what you did? Give us a little bit of...
The one that killed him was that I came in cloth dressed as a fisherman, all right? And I started speaking like a fisherman, you know. And he was interviewing me, you know, and then I said to him, oh yeah, for Shubedjamo. That means you look good, but you've got no brains. You know, I had this cloth on, and I didn't know that one day I'd be representing the fishermen in Choko. It was great.
It was good. So, President Amin, you've been in Uganda for quite a while, and we understand that you've made so many changes. What kind of changes have you made?
I've done a lot. I've changed a lot of the things there.
Can you give me an example?
Yes, but the thing that the major change I wanted to make when you know, because I'm not in power anymore.
You don't have electricity?
When you say electricity, it's electricity. The power that I get is not done for a machine.
Oh, okay. You mean human power?
Look at it this manner. How can you say something like a human power? Power is a power. It comes from human being anyway. But what it is, I'm going to change the name of the country because you see, all the countries in Africa that are progressive, they've changed the name. Ghana used to be Gold Coast. Wait a minute, I've been talking. And then Benin used to be...
I can understand what I went through.
Benin used to be Dahomey. Burkina Faso used to be Upper Volta. But they change the name, you see. And,
Do you know why these countries change their names?
because they want to progress. Sometimes they get a name, it's not a good name. You understand? So what happened was I changed it. I want to change the name when I get back to the Republic of Idi.
Okay, so if Ghana are Ghanaians,
And that is right.
Nigeria are Nigerians,
Yes, thank you.
Mali are Malians,
Uh,
Guinea-Bissau they are asking for Guinness, Guinea-Bissau, Bissau Guinness. Why do you want to change the name?
Because when you change the name, the people will get the right attitude. You understand? To the new change they make. Because Burkina Faso is a land of a gentleman. But at first it was the upper Volta. What are you doing up the Volta? That is, walking around with a canoe going up at the Volta.
Show some love, man.
So if you change the name to Republic of Idi,
Yes.
how are you going to call your citizens?
Of course, I will call them idiots.
And you think that is progressive enough?
But if anybody thinking that is the idiot from the person who's foolish, no, they're ought. You see, it's idi, then you put a dash and you make it ought. So that people do not know that, they don't ascribe it to people who are not correct.
Thank you very much for coming for the interview.
So you do stuff like this, I rehearse, you just shoot it.
Totally unrehearsed.
He had a gift for doing the Indian accent, you see. You still got it.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I said, oh, Mr. Singh, Mr. Jodhpur Singh, I remember.
Yes, it is very, very true. Yeah, very right.
Jodhpur Singh, you came to Ghana to do what? What did you come to do? Because
it's a very, very interesting question because, when I was in India, they're talking to me that if I come to Ghana, there's a lot of very many chances of investment. I wanted to do the investment, but I realized that going into the investment, I have to go out of the investment. So it was just total chaos. Total chaos. I didn't know what to be doing.
oh dear. And so
No, it is oh dearie me.
Oh,
Are
sorry.
you very stupid?
Thank you for telling me that. But how did you get into the country? Did you have a visa?
No, I came by bus. He brought me by bus. And from the airport, I was in a wheelbarrow. It is one-wheel drive, so it is very easy. No petrol. It is human excavator. Then move me from the airport in a wheelbarrow.
You wanted to save power.
Yes, very, very much.
Put your hands together, man. So I can imagine, doing this on TV then. That must have been so new and so refreshing.
It was totally new. I mean, people did not expect. They had heard, and it's not like today where you can pre-promo programs and stuff. It was just taken by bam, just like that. And people did not expect what we did because of the fact that we're in a military regime. I mean, who were you at the time to mimic Rawlings? But it was like, let's do it. And surprisingly, KSM, the man watched the show and he called GBC and gave them an order. I want copies of
this
those
show.
programs. And unfortunately, we didn't have copies because GBC, the library got burnt at a point in time. So he was the only person who had the 7 episodes that we did.
Yeah, we did.
Really? So you don't have any records of...
Not at all. Not at all. Not
Wow.
at all. But it fascinates us to know that even after 30 years, people still remember FNF.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
So many other programs have been forgotten, but people always ask, when are you bringing back FNF? And this is where we said, okay, we'll think of something to do for Christmas. So maybe, Fritz can let you in, Christmas special.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I would like to invite you.
I would love to
come
be
on the
there.
program so that you come and join the mayhem and the bedlam.
and the chows. And the chows.
So like FNF, you guys will be on stage on Christmas? On special?
Yeah. But a
man.
TV program. We would like
Oh,
to,
TV program, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And we definitely would love to rope you in.
Well,
so
yeah.
the Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Wow.
The KFT show.
KFT.
That's Tommy, Fritz, and KSM. So
Wow.
the KFT show.
Wow.
I think it'll be fantastic. People
Oh, that would be awesome.
I think people are bored of the same old thing, and people are looking for something different. You know, once in a while you just hit them in the face with it, and they swallow it with all pride. You know, and
Get out of the drudgery. I mean, it's too boring. Everybody's talking about politics and all kinds of names come up and all that. It's about insults and things. We just want to bring some fun. Let people enjoy themselves. You know.
I hear you. Give it up, man. Give it up. Give it up. And in the last few minutes that I have, both of you, let me start with you, Fritz. Your personal wife and how many kids and grandkids?
I've got yes, I'm married and I've got 4 kids, and I also have a few grandchildren. You know, but then I also have quite a number of children that I brought up. So you know, I don't want to differentiate. So
okay,
I've got quite a few.
All children be children.
All children be children, and I love children. I love kids, and I think it's a very, very important thing that we have to give them the right kind of upbringing. Like we did on the tech campus. We had fun, didn't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've known him since 1960.
Here we go. Here we go. Little bad boy KSM, huh?
He was a good little boy. He was a good little boy.
Still good.
Yeah.
And still.
Yes.
Still.
Yeah.
And Tommy, you
Show some love, man. Show some love. Show some love, man. Show some love. Take your prime time. Show some love, man.
Tommy, you made waves, man. Because I remember, hey, there's a Tommy. There's one for some fine young chick, B&T's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Made waves, you know. Even I made the whole sea, not just
the waves.
The whole sea. Yeah, but I'm married for the second time. Nanaya Jari, and unfortunately, very sweet lady, down to earth. She's also into acting.
Oh, she is.
Yeah, and she supports me with my school, and so I have a she's had a son. He's 11 years, my stepson. Brilliant boy, you know, lovely kid. And so we get on very well. People have asked about the age difference, you know, maybe 15, 20 years. And I say, look, age is just a number, you know. Our values, our principles, our beliefs are virtually the same. We're very, very religious. We believe in God so much. We pray together. And so age is just a number. And we flow very well, very, very well.
And I would assume that you flow in all the strictest sense of the word, flowing.
Absolutely.
Don't go there.
Don't go there. Absolutely. Oh yeah, but she's a wonderful person.
Fantastic.
Very, very wonderful person.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
So,
oh man, it's really, really, really great to hang out with the two of you. Great legends. And it's amazing, you know. I know we can do 3 shows on this back to back to back, and we still will not cover everything. Yeah. Put your hands together, man, for Fritz and Forsen. Fritz and Fritz. And coming soon, what did you say, KFC?
What's the KFC?
What is all this?
What is
KFT.
KFT, okay. It was so great to have you guys, man.
Yeah, great to
Thank
be
you
here.
so
Thank
much
you.
for the honor.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, stick around. We'll be right back.
If you're having as much fun as I am, stay tuned. If you're not, you need deliverance. We'll be right back.